Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this video here, I'm going to take a rock and I'm going to show you how I make a cab from the rough rock all the way to the finished cabochon. This week I got a piece of Dendritic Opal. Let's make a cabochon. So this week we got ourselves a piece of Dendritic Opal that I bought at the gem shop down in Cedarburg, just north of Milwaukee. And I'll put the link down below in the description if you're ever down there. We got a lot of stuff. So this is what it looks like on the outside. And I thought it was going to be like a milky type deal with some dendrites in there. Look at that. This is probably some of the prettiest stone I think I've ever cut other than agates. And I cut the first piece off and I thought, wow, and I couldn't stop slicing. I cut 3 more chunks off. So this is the piece I'm going to use for the cab here. But here's another chunk. And it's kind of, had a lot of fractures in it until I got to this piece here. But look at that. I'm going to put a light behind it. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to run, I got a microscope now where I can run it across these and get a really close look at them. And I'm going to interject that video in here and we'll see how it comes out. I'll run it across there. So you'll get to see that now. Yeah, here's another chunk I cut. I just got to figure out how to make more cabochons out of this without running afoul of the fractures. Look at that. Look at the dendrites in there. And this is what the outside looked like. So we are going to take this piece here, and I have decided to use a pear shape, and I kind of pre-marked it a little bit right there. So we're going to go with the 1.25 inches, and I'm thinking right about there. Looks good. I got a ultra fine Sharpie here. It seems to work really good with my templates. So right about there, mark this out. All right, so we're going to take this downstairs. I'm going to trim this out of here, and then we'll take it over to the cabbing machine and grind it down to the lines, put a dop stick on it, and then make a cabochon out of it. Hopefully it'll be awesome. So this will be the back side, and this will be the show side. So let's get downstairs and get busy. All right, step one is I got to trim this out of the slab here. So let's try to do that quick. Okay, that's close enough for me. Let's move over to the cabinet machine. All right, got my shape here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the 80 grit. I'm going to kind of back grind it here and get these bumps off. And then we'll move over to 220 grit and I'll grind it down to the line. And then we'll move over to 280 grit and I'll clean up the scratch marks from the 220 grit. So let's start grinding. All right, got it kind of close to the line here. Now we're going to move the 220 grit. All right, I got it ground to the line now. When you're doing this on these two wheels right here, don't stop your cab on there because it'll grind a flat spot in there in an instant. You don't want that because then you got to grind the flat spot out here because you can't get it out over here. All right, so now we're going to run it on the 280 grit to get the marks out from the 220 grit. All right, take a look and see what we got here for a shine. Ooh, not looking too bad. All right, all ready to go. I'm going to throw this on the dot pot, and we're going to put a dot stick on it, and then we'll come back and make a cabochon out of it. All right, we're all dopped up here. And basically, I'm just gluing a stick to the cab with some lapidary wax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve in a girdle. It'll be about 1/8 of an inch to 2 millimeter-ish off the bottom here, edge. And I'm going to go all the way around the cab. And once I get that established, I'm going to start working my way to the center of the cab, grinding in a circle here. So let's start. So we'll start with the 80 grit. All right, establish my girdle. You can kind of see it right there, the edge, all the way around the cab. You can see it coming at an angle about like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this top edge here, and I'm going to work my way towards the center. Now stay away from the girdle because you've established that. You don't want to be grinding into that anymore. So let's remove some off the top here. All right, that's looking pretty good. Just got a little flat spot right there. Got kind of a dome working there, so now I'm going to start actually doming it. All right, looking pretty good there. Let's move on to the 220 grit. All right, now we'll move on to the 280 grit. Now we're looking here. Getting there. A few scratches in there. Cool. Now we're going to move over to the polishing side. I'm going to shut you off for a minute here. All right, now we're over here on the polishing side. I got a 600 grit, a 1200 grit, a 3000 grit, then I got a cerium oxide on the end of the shaft right here. So we'll start with 600. Do a little scratch check here. Pretty good, and that's on 600 grit right there. All right, I'm gonna move over to, well, we're gonna finish up at a 600. All right, now we're gonna move over to 1200. And now to the 3000. See what we got here. All right, that's the 3000. So I'm going to take it over in the cerium oxide and touch it on there a little bit and see what we can do. Okay, this is cerium oxide pad. It's a sticky pad that sticks to a piece of foam on the wheel here, and that screws into the end of my cabbing machine. I like it because it's not messy, it's replaceable, and it does a relatively good job. So let's see what we can do with this cab here. See what we got. A little pant leg here. Oh yeah. Look at that. So I'm going to take this up, throw it in the freezer, get it off the stick, and then we'll take a good close look at it. All right, let's take a closer look at this. I thought it came out splendid. Got a nice dendrite going in there. Got some cloudy looking stuff on top. Beautiful shine. Got a little stuff going on back there. I am super impressed with this one. So it'll end up on the Etsy page. I don't know exactly when. Might get around to putting it on there, I guess. So, and then I'm gonna try and make a couple more since I already slapped a bunch of it, and hopefully that'll make it to the Etsy page. Actually, it wasn't too bad to work. Got a nice clean break off the stick, and ended up with a really nice looking cabochon here. Well, hope you enjoyed watching me take a chunk of this and making this right here. This to this. This is awesome. I really like this a lot. I'm gonna have to get some more of this stuff. So, got my notes here. Next week, I'll be doing a piece of Rosetta lace, Mexican Rosetta lace. That should make a pretty cool looking cab. And this video comes out every Saturday, and then I have another video that comes out on Wednesdays where I cut rocks in half and I show you what's inside of them, which mostly I've been using common rocks for that and been getting some really good results. And viewers have been sending me rocks too. And then I'll take those rocks, each one I'll make a cabochon, and then I'll show that in the following episode. So if you're interested in that, you can kind of look at that and then come look at this. I got playlists for both of these now, so you can kind of jump back and forth. And then if you're interested, if you're in the lapidary, these templates here, I think I have 26. I make these here, and they're all one shape. They're not a whole page of different shapes. So, and they stack real nice because they're all the same size. And the other thing too, if you have a shape, a specific shape you're looking for, you know, send me a message or email or comment or something like that, because I make these. I design them and make them. So if it's a common shape or something that might be popular, I can make that shape and make it available to you and everybody else. And then the cabs, you can find them on Etsy, and the templates, you can find them on Etsy, and that's in the link down below in the description below the video here. And I'd like to thank the subscribers, appreciate it. I'm almost at 19.5, I'm getting there. And then all you viewers out there, I'm glad you like the content, but if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Push the button down below, absolutely free. Slide over, give me a thumbs up, because that gets the analytics out there so more people can find the content. At least that's what they tell me. And then you can share it, you can ring the bell, and you can hype it on your mobile device. That helps me out even more to get the word out that Tim's making videos here, and they're really good. So thanks for coming along, watching content, watching me make a cool cabochon out of that Dendritic Opal. That's all I got, and I'll catch you later.